What could possibly make a child decide to kill his best friend? And could the reason be a movie? Not a movie about a crime, but a movie that taught him how to commit one. In the quiet Egyptian city of Ismailia, everything seemed normal. But inside one small house on a calm street, a 13-year-old boy was preparing for something no one could have imagined. The victim's name was Adam, not his real name. He lived in Ismailia, a city known for its tranquil canals and lush gardens, a place where community ties are meant to run deep. It was here, in a quiet, sun-drenched neighborhood, that Adam was growing up, completely unaware of the darkness that was beginning to gather on his horizon. He was an ordinary kid in middle school, just like any other boy his age, navigating the complex world of shifting friendships, academic pressures, and the simple joys of youth. He was known for a quiet demeanor, a boy who often preferred listening to speaking, but whose smile was warm and genuine. He wasn't the most popular kid, nor was he an outcast. He was simply Adam, an unassuming part of the everyday fabric of his school and community. He loved soccer. The dusty schoolyard was his stadium, the worn-out ball his most prized possession. And sharing that passion, right by his side, was his closest friend, Yasin. Their friendship was forged on that soccer field, built on shared victories and the easy camaraderie of youth. They were inseparable, spending afternoons kicking a ball until the sun went down, sharing secrets and dreaming about the future. To everyone who knew them, they were more than friends. They were like brothers, but the bonds of youth can be fragile. Months before, the two had gotten into a fight at school. It was a trivial argument, the kind that erupts and vanishes in minutes. A few harsh words, a shove, a teacher separating them. It seemed like nothing. A week later, they made peace. They shook hands, and to the outside world, their friendship was repaired. But the truth is, the peace was only on the surface. For Adam, the incident was forgotten, a minor bump in a strong friendship. But inside Yasin, something had broken. The apology felt hollow, the handshake a formality. Anger was still burning, a quiet, bottled-up fury that had started to twist his thoughts, replaying the moment of perceived disrespect over and over again, letting it fester and grow into a dangerous obsession. Yasin called Adam that afternoon. "Come over, let's study for the English test," he said. Adam agreed, not knowing it would be the last time anyone ever saw him alive. Around 3 p.m., security cameras caught Adam entering Yasin's house. After that moment, no one ever saw him leave. That single detail would later unravel the whole case. One neighbor told police later, "We heard banging sounds, thought his father was working on wood again." Yasin's father was a carpenter, and the tool Yasin used for the crime came straight from his father's workshop, a power chainsaw. Investigators believe the argument started suddenly. Yasin hit Adam, and when Adam fell, something in Yasin snapped. All the anger, all the scenes he'd watched over and over again from a Western horror film, came flooding back. It was a movie that showed a killer dismembering his victim with a chainsaw, and Yasin decided to reenact it.
When questioned later, the boy said quietly, "I just wanted to try what I saw in the movie."
Multiple media outlets claimed the movie was a Western horror film famous for its gruesome dismemberment scenes. But prosecutors never released the film's name publicly. What they did confirm was that the boy had watched it repeatedly, studying the killer's moves. That fictional scene became his manual for murder. The next morning, a maintenance worker spotted 2 large black bags behind the Carrefour Mall in Ismailia. He thought they were just garbage until the smell hit him. He called mall security, and when police opened the bags, they froze. Inside were body parts of a young boy. DNA confirmed it was Adam. Police reviewed the area's CCTV footage. They found that Adam had last been seen entering Yasin's house. And a few hours later, Yasin appeared alone, carrying a small black bag. That single clip changed everything. The timeline was clear, and it pointed directly at Yasin. Armed with a search and arrest warrant, authorities descended on Yasin's family home in the pre-dawn hours. The evidence gathered from CCTV footage and witness statements had painted a damning picture, leaving no room for doubt. The neighborhood, usually stirring with the first signs of morning life, was held in a tense, unnatural silence as the tactical team moved into position. Their objective was clear: secure the premises and apprehend the suspect without incident. The quiet click of gear and hushed commands were the only sounds that broke the stillness before they breached the door. Inside, the house was eerily quiet. As officers cleared the rooms, they were drawn to a small, detached workshop in the back. The air inside was thick and metallic. Flashlights cut through the gloom, revealing a scene of chilling disarray. Though a clumsy attempt had been made to clean up, the forensic team's specialized equipment told a different story. Luminol spray cast an ethereal blue glow across the floor and walls, revealing the true extent of the bloodshed. And there, in the corner, sat the chainsaw. It was stained with what forensics would later confirm, through DNA analysis, was the blood of Adam. Every fleck of dust, every fiber, and every tool was now a piece of a horrific puzzle, meticulously collected and bagged as evidence.
When they confronted Yasin, he was found sitting calmly in the living room. There was no fight, no denial, no resistance. His demeanor was unnervingly placid as the handcuffs were placed on his wrists. He simply looked up at the arresting officer and said, "I just wanted to try what I saw in that movie, and then I couldn't stop."
This chilling confession linking the crime to a violent film was just the beginning. During his initial questioning, Yasin allegedly made an even more disturbing statement. He claimed he had tasted part of the body. This unverified detail was leaked to the public and spread like wildfire across social media, fueling a storm of outrage and morbid fascination. While the claim became a central part of the public's narrative of the crime, it's crucial to note that the prosecution has never officially confirmed this detail, leaving it in the realm of horrific, uncorroborated rumor. Adam's father stood outside the police station, eyes empty. Reporters asked him one question: why had his son gone there? He whispered,
"He went to that house to make peace with his friend. He didn't know it would be the end."
One sentence that broke a nation's heart. Classmates said Yasin had become obsessed with strange online videos. He'd talk about movie scenes, violent ones, like they were puzzles he wanted to solve.
One friend remembered him saying, "If they can do it in movies, I can too."
Neighbors described him differently: quiet, polite, always alone. But lately, his eyes looked off, like he was somewhere else entirely. The prosecution ordered a full psychiatric exam. Doctors found signs of dissociation, difficulty separating fiction from reality. He told them movies felt realer than real life. He didn't watch to escape. He watched to copy. It wasn't madness in the classic sense. It was something colder, a young mind that never learned what empathy feels like. When the story hit Egyptian media, the country froze. Every channel showed the same words: a boy killed his classmate with a chainsaw. On social media, the comments split. Some blamed the parents, others blamed the internet, and some just typed the same question everyone was thinking: how? Because it wasn't a man, it was a child. This wasn't just a crime, it was a mirror, reflecting the darkest corners of our digital age and the silent struggles that can fester within a young mind. It forces us to ask uncomfortable questions, not just about Yasin, but about the environment that shaped him. What happens when a vulnerable teenager, grappling with real-world anger and isolation, finds a blueprint for violence just a click away? The case became a chilling study in modern media consumption and its potential for devastating real-world consequences. Yasin wasn't born evil. Experts suggest that such a personality is often built, not inherent. It's constructed piece by piece, one clip at a time, one violent scene at a time. The anger from that school fight was the spark, a moment of humiliation that sought an outlet. The film, with its graphic and glorified retribution, became the fuel, offering a twisted sense of power and control he lacked. And the lack of guidance, that was the oxygen. Without a trusted adult to help him process his feelings or contextualize the media he was consuming, the lines between fantasy and reality began to blur. Psychologists and media analysts warn that inside the vast ocean of violent stories online, there's a small, susceptible percentage who don't just watch, they absorb. They internalize the narratives, not as fiction, but as instruction. For these individuals, repeated exposure doesn't desensitize, it normalizes. The hero's violent solution becomes a viable option. The villain's rage feels justified. And if no one notices the warning signs, the social withdrawal, the obsessive viewing habits, the subtle shifts in behavior, they might just decide to replay the scene. For real. The digital script becomes a real-world tragedy. The prosecution charged Yassin and ordered that he be held for evaluation. His father was questioned too. How could a chainsaw from his workshop end up in his son's hands? The investigation traced every timeline, every camera, and Ismailia, a city once known for peace, became the headline for horror. This story isn't about one child. It's about a generation growing up behind screens. A generation that sees blood before it learns kindness. Adam lost his life. Yassin lost his future. And we're left to wonder, how many more are walking that same invisible line between fiction and reality? Why are stories like this becoming more common? Is the problem at home? On the internet? Or in the way society looks away until it's too late? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Maybe one of your answers will be the key to preventing the next tragedy. Subscribe to the channel for the latest updates on this case and the untold stories that are still waiting in the dark.